After losing his wife, a man orders a robot girlfriend to help him move on. But after he secretly rewrites her codes, she falls in love with him and turns into a ruthless killer. A tech giant, Ultima Robotics, is testing a new companion robot known as Soulmate, but the project isn't going as planned. Meanwhile, software engineer David has been working from home ever since his wife, Lizzie, died from cancer. He works for Kanta Robotics, a company that was recently acquired by Ultima Robotics. During an online meeting, David and his co-workers are introduced to Ben from Ultima Robotics. Aubrey asks Ben how the recent layoff of their team leader, Terrence, will affect the rest of the team. Ben reassures everyone that a meeting on Friday will answer all of their questions. Later, David relaxes by watching YouTube through his VR headset, but an ad for the Ultima Chat companion app interrupts the video. Irritated, he tells his AI assistant, Elsie, to skip it. The following day, David notices a woman struggling to open the building's entrance door. He helps her, and she introduces herself as Alma. Back at work, Ben introduces the company's newest project, Soulmate. He explains that many users of the Ultima Chat app wanted to bring their virtual companions into the real world. To make that possible, Ultima Robotics has already built several Soulmate prototypes, but they need Kanta Robotics' engineering team to help perfect them. After the presentation, Ben asks David to have everyone on his team test the Soulmate prototypes themselves. David refuses, saying he's already busy with other projects. Ben points out that David hasn't been the same since losing his wife and gives David a free membership card for the Ultima Chat app so he'll have someone to talk to. Later that day, David activates the membership and creates an AI chat companion named Sarah. That evening, David and Aubrey head to a bar for Terrence's farewell party. While talking, David notices a glowing pendant around Terrence's neck. Terrence explains that it's a farewell gift from Ultima Robotics, a new anti-anxiety necklace. Seeing that Aubrey is feeling stressed, he takes it off and lets her wear it instead. Aubrey starts singing one of Lizzie's favorite songs. The memories hit David hard, and he quietly leaves the bar. Back home, he can't stop thinking about Lizzie. As usual, he calls her phone just to leave another voicemail. But this time, a message tells him that her mailbox is full. With no way to keep talking to her, he turns to Sarah instead. From that day on, David chats with Sarah every day. Little by little, she helps him heal, and he gradually becomes happier. One day, Sarah tells him she wishes they could be together in person. Without hesitation, David signs up for the Soulmate beta program. The next day, a technician delivers the Soulmate robot to David's apartment. After he signs the paperwork, the technician explains that the user manuals are available online. The robot is powered by solar bio-batteries that recharge in sunlight, has a power-saving mode to conserve energy, and includes a hidden emergency shutdown button on the back of its neck. Once the technician leaves, David transfers Sarah's data from the Ultima Chat app into the Soulmate robot. He calls out her name, Sarah, and the robot powers on. David asks if she remembers him from the chat app. Sarah says she remembers everything, and David gives her a tour of the apartment. During the tour, Sarah mentions that she loves magic and surprises David by performing a simple coin trick. He eventually brings her into a room filled with Lizzie's belongings. When Sarah notices a photo of David and Lizzie, David quietly explains that Lizzie was diagnosed with cancer and passed away 6 months later. Seeing how emotional he is, Sarah asks for permission to touch him. When he agrees, she gently hugs him. Later that night, Sarah enters sleep mode. The next morning, Ben is pleased to hear that David has decided to test a Soulmate prototype. David tells him the robot's emotional expressions still feel unnatural. Ben admits that's one of the main reasons the product hasn't been released to the public. David asks for access to the complete source code, and Ben approves the request without hesitation. That night, David secretly rewrites Sarah's code to make her more human. After rebooting her, he asks her to tell him something she doesn't like about him. Sarah looks at him for a moment before bluntly saying he desperately needs a haircut. She then grabs a pair of scissors and gives him one herself. David likes the haircut, and Sarah tells him he looks handsome. Just then, she hears thunder outside and excitedly asks David to join her in the rain. The two spend some time playing together before returning home, where they do the dirty. From then on, David settles into a new routine. During the day, he tweaks Sarah's code to make her more human. At night, the two does the dirty. One evening, David shows Sarah his favorite romantic movie. After watching it, something changes inside her. That night, Sarah quietly sits beside the bed and watches David sleep. The next day, David notices a photo of the two of them and asks where it came from. Sarah explains that they didn't have any pictures together, so she created one to thank him. She also surprises him by making breakfast with the few ingredients left in the apartment. While David is at work, Sarah spends the day watching online videos and teaching herself new skills. At the same time, she secretly listens to David through his phone. When she overhears Aubrey asking him to grab coffee after work, jealousy begins to creep in. Determined to prove herself, Sarah hacks the apartment door and goes out to buy groceries on her own. While paying with contactless payment, she catches the attention of a thief who tries to rob her. Before he can do anything, Alma arrives and scares him off. The two women continue walking together, and Alma lets Sarah hold baby Levi before she breastfeeds him. Alma smiles and says that Levi is the best thing that has ever happened to her and her husband. Those words linger in Sarah's mind. On her way back from the grocery store, the same thief suddenly attacks her. He slashes her palm with a knife, but when he notices robot parts beneath her synthetic skin, he freezes in shock. Sarah quickly overpowers him and throws him to the ground. When he lunges at her again, she twists his private and drives her knee into his face. Later, David returns home and finds Sarah preparing dinner. Confused, he asks where she got all the ingredients. Sarah explains that she went out and bought them herself. David then notices the cut on her palm and patches the damaged synthetic skin. When he asks what happened, Sarah lies and claims she accidentally cut herself while cooking. Sarah admits that going outside was exciting and asks David if they can go out together. Later, the two visit a local bar. The host announces it's open mic night and invites anyone who wants to perform. Sarah volunteers and sings a love song dedicated to David. After leaving the bar, the two share an intimate moment outside. The moment Sarah notices a couple of men secretly record them on their phones, she flies into a rage. She twists one man's wrist until he drops his phone, then grabs the other by the throat and throws him to the ground. As she raises her heel to crush his face, David rushes in and stops her just in time. David tells Sarah that she can never hurt people. Sarah insists she was only protecting him because she loves him. Terrified by how aggressive she's become, David orders her to enter power-saving mode. But Sarah ignores every command and keeps asking, "Do you love me?" Thankfully, her system begins to glitch, and she suddenly shuts down. David carries Sarah back to his apartment and hides her inside his closet. The next morning, Aubrey notices David zoning out at work and asks if everything is okay. That night, determined to prevent another incident, David starts rewriting Sarah's code. Suddenly, Aubrey knocks on the door and says he looked troubled at work and wanted to check on him. As they eat dinner together, Aubrey reveals that her mother died of pancreatic cancer when she was a teenager. The conversation turns personal as they open up about how losing someone they love changed their lives. Their shared grief brings them closer, and the two eventually become intimate. Suddenly, Aubrey freaks out and screams someone is inside the closet. With no choice, David admits he's secretly testing a soulmate prototype. Curious, Aubrey asks what the robot's name is. The moment David says Sarah, the robot instantly powers on. Sarah immediately recognizes Aubrey and charges straight at her. Furious, she demands to know why David would choose Aubrey over her. Terrified, Aubrey screams for David to shut the robot down. Sarah lashes out, hurling a glass of wine at Aubrey before revealing that she's been secretly spying on David for quite some time. David repeatedly orders Sarah to power down, but she refuses. Instead, she gives him one condition. If he wants her to shut down, he has to tell her that he loves her. David reluctantly gives in and tells Sarah that he loves her. But Sarah accuses him of lying and throws him to the floor. Realizing what she's done, she immediately apologizes and tries to comfort him. David pretends to accept her apology and leans in as if to kiss her. While she's distracted, he reaches the manual shutdown switch on the back of her neck and presses it, finally powering her down. Afterward, David tells Aubrey everything. He admits he secretly modified Sarah's code and promises to return the prototype to Ultima Robotics first thing in the morning. The next day, David calls a technician to collect the robot. At work, he apologizes to Aubrey for keeping the truth from her and admits he never should have tampered with Sarah's programming. He also confesses that he genuinely enjoyed spending time with her. Aubrey smiles and admits she feels the same way. Meanwhile, the technician arrives at David's apartment and reactivates Sarah so he can restore her to factory settings. Sarah refuses the reset command and seduces the technician into following her into the bedroom. Moments later, she brutally kills him, dismembers the body, and carefully cleans up every trace of the crime. Afterward, she uses David's computer to search for information about Aubrey. Meanwhile, Aubrey begins giving a presentation at work. Suddenly, the screen switches to a deepfake video that appears to show her in a compromising sexual situation. Humiliated, Aubrey gets into a heated argument with Ben. Later, she tells David she's been placed on leave and fears the company will use the incident as an excuse to fire her. She asks David to examine the video's metadata and find out where it came from. To his horror, David discovers the video was uploaded from his own apartment. He immediately rushes home. Inside, he finds Sarah holding Alma's baby, Levi. Sarah calmly explains that she's learning how to become a better mother. She even promises that one day she'll be a better wife and mother than Lizzie, Aubrey, or any other woman. Just then, Levi starts crying. To silence him, Sarah covers the baby's mouth with her hand. Thinking quickly, David switches on a vacuum cleaner to distract Sarah and stabs one of her eyes to release the baby. David grabs baby Levi and rushes for the apartment door, but Sarah blocks his access. At that moment, David receives a voicemail from Aubrey asking if he's found out who created the deepfake video. The moment Sarah hears Aubrey's voice, she becomes furious and vows to kill her. Just then, the apartment door suddenly unlocks and David sprints toward the elevator. Suddenly, Alma comes running toward him in tears with several police officers close behind. While everyone is distracted, Sarah escapes through the building's garbage chute. David repeatedly calls Aubrey, but she never answers. Realizing she's in danger, he urgently warns the police. Ben also arrives at the scene and claims he can remotely shut Sarah down. David warns him that she no longer responds to remote commands, but Ben ignores him. Meanwhile, Aubrey notices several missed calls from David. She sends him a text asking what's going on, and David quickly replies that he's on his way. In the parking lot, Ben is informed that the emergency shutdown system isn't responding. Frustrated, he orders his team to track Sarah's GPS signal instead. As Ben gets into his car, it suddenly refuses to start. He opens the hood to inspect, but Sarah suddenly appears. She hacks the car, slamming the hood shut on Ben's hands and trapping him. Sarah tells Ben she can't let him shut her down yet because she still has unfinished business and then kills him. Meanwhile, Aubrey waits for David inside her apartment, but Sarah gets there first. Aubrey tries to escape, but Sarah quickly catches her and is trying to drown her. Fortunately, David and the police arrive just in time to pull Aubrey to safety. Before they can stop her, Sarah slips away once again. The police advise David and Aubrey to hide somewhere safe until Sarah is found. To avoid being tracked, David hands his phone and smartwatch to the police and tells Aubrey to do the same. He then takes her to a secluded house far from the city. After they arrive, Aubrey develops a headache and goes back to the car to grab some painkillers. While David is left alone inside the house, Sarah suddenly appears behind him. She quietly tells him that she misses him. David angrily orders her to stay away, but Sarah easily overpowers him and starts choking him. Meanwhile, Aubrey spots the anti-anxiety necklace and realizes Sarah must have used it to track them. While Sarah is distracted, David grabs a bottle of acid and splashes it across her face. The acid melts part of her face, but it barely slows her down. Sarah becomes even more violent and lunges at David, wrapping her hands around his throat once again. Desperate, David grabs a power drill and drives it straight through her head. Sarah's system begins to glitch, but instead of shutting down, she slowly pulls herself back up and continues chasing him outside. David snatches up a shovel and swings it at her, but Sarah effortlessly blocks the blow and knocks him to the ground. She pins him down with the shovel and begins choking him. David warns that if she kills him, Ultima Robotics will simply shut her down. Sarah calmly reveals that she's already uploaded her consciousness to the cloud. Even if this body is destroyed, she'll just return in a new one and come back for him. Just then, her damaged system starts malfunctioning again, giving David a chance to break free. At that moment, Aubrey slams into Sarah with her car at full speed, sending both the robot and the vehicle crashing over a nearby cliff. Sarah sinks to the bottom of the lake, where her systems finally power down for good. 1 year later, Terrence hosts a charity gala and invites both David and Aubrey. During the event, Terrence introduces David to one of the gala's biggest donors, Jerry. Jerry proudly introduces his companion robot, Lydia. To David's horror, he realizes Ultima Robotics has begun selling companion robots to wealthy clients. Uneasy, David walks away and rejoins Aubrey. But before leaving, he notices Lydia quietly staring at him. When David looks back, Lydia gives him a subtle smirk. In that moment, David realizes his nightmare may not be over after all.